All right, we are live. Hey, everybody. Sorry we're late tonight. So sorry. Oh, my goodness. It is Geooh Go. Geo. It's a Geooh Go, right? It's not Geooh Go.
No, no. Like I said, I wish I would have come up with a better name at one time, but I'm living with it.
Ron. Geooh Go. And there's no dash.
No,
What did I put it? I put it in the show notes that there was a dash?
yeah,
Oh, sorry. My bad. Sorry about that.
or in a notification on Facebook.
I did? Oh, I'm sorry. That's my bad. Sorry about that. No dash. Okay. Everybody ready? Get the show started.
I'm ready.
Okay. Ron, I'm going to put you on mute. I'll say welcome to you, and then you'll be on. Okay?
All right.
Just hang tight, buddy. Thank you. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us tonight. We got Ron, the creator of Geooh Go, on the show tonight. So you have a question for Ron, put it in the chat, please. We have no shows. We're not going to have phones on tonight because it's late. So no phones tonight. You guys have a question, put it in the chat, and we'll get it to Ron. So let's start the show out. Here we go. In 3, 2, 1.
You wanna know how to find it. Seek it out when they hide it. You know it's in the bag when it's an easy grab. But come on, take a chance now. So go, geocache. And if you need help, we're right there in a flash. If you got a question, just call in and ask. Uncover the stash on the Geocaching Podcast. The Geocaching Podcast.
Welcome, everyone. It's Wednesday. It's 8:30, which means it's once again time for the Geocaching Podcast. My name is Scott Perks. We have our co-host Shorty that's in the next room.
Hello.
And please welcome to my virtual left, my other co-host, Chaz 427.
Howdy, y'all. Let's talk Geooh Go.
That's right, guys. Tonight's episode 816, recorded live on May 8th, 2024, is a Geooh Go discussion. Actually, Geooh Go 14 discussion. Phone lines are now open. Just give us a call, 808-468-7924. That is 808. Oh, no, I'm lying. The phone lines are not open tonight. Sorry about that, guys. No phones tonight. So if you want to, you have a question for Ron, just feel free to put it in the chat room, and we will set it all up. Oh, we got an echo going. Really? Set it all up, and we will be good. So there you go. But first, Chad, before we do this, we got to talk about Patreon, Chad.
Got to pay those bills.
Guys, it costs a lot of money to make this show work. There's 2 ways you can help us out. You go to paypal.me, that's paypal.me/the Geocaching Podcast, and I make a one-time donation, or you join Patreon, Chad.
You get anything for that?
You get extra audio, extra video, only available to our Patreon members. You get stickers and coins and path tags and pins and patron-only shows, the end of the year patron giveaway show, all this good stuff. So it really helps the show. You can, much like, hey, Chad, Thunderstruck out of Lincoln, Nebraska. Decides to be a gold star.
Is it Thunder Truck or Thunderstruck? Because you put Thunder Truck in there.
Thunderstruck. No, I'm not sure.
But I'm thinking, the best song ACDC ever put out, Thunderstruck. Yeah,
of course. Yeah. I think it's Thunderstruck out of Lincoln, Nebraska. Gold star patron, Chad.
Yeah, awesome.
Love the gold stars. Thunderstruck, appreciate it, buddy. He knuckled up. He said, yes, I want to help. And he did. And he's enjoying everything on the other side. So we appreciate that, Paul. You want to help us out, you can. You go to patreon.com. That's patreon.com/the Geocaching Podcast.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Tonight's show is brought to you by Cachly. Cachly is an advanced geocaching app for iOS. It features powerful online and offline features, including filtered searches, offline maps, and offline saving of caches. Cachly has hundreds of advanced features that will make your geocaching experience just that much better. Get more info at cachly.com. That's CACHLY.com.
Tonight, we're also sponsored by Logwork. Logwork are the creators of the fantastic logbook, made with genuine writing the rain paper. The logbook designed for the micro containers of the present and future, geared towards the hider who'd rather go cache than do cache maintenance. Find them at logwork.com. That's LOGWERK.com.
It's also brought to you by FTF Geocacher Magazine. FTF Geocacher is the magazine for geocachers written by geocachers. With 6 issues a year, FTF offers practical advice, hints and tips, cacher bios and milestones, geocaching events, trail tales, and all things geo-related. Find them at ftfgeocacher.com.
And by the Max Suds Body Company. Max Suds Body Company makes handmade bath and body products from all natural oils and butters. Items such as Poison Be Gone soap, itch spray, and 2-cent choices of bug spray are all great for outdoor enthusiasts like geocachers. At Max Suds Body, we have you covered from head to toe. Find them at maxsudsbody.com. That's MACSUDSBODY.com.
And by Practical Geocaching. Practical Geocaching sells utility items for geocaching. Our items are made in the USA, and we always provide free shipping. Find them at practicalgeocaching.com. That's PRACTICAL geocaching.com.
And by Arted Crafted. Arted Crafted creates unique geocaching themed tees and custom designs for you or your geocaching group. With adult sizes ranging from small to 5XL, if you have an idea for shirt design and cannot find it, you've gone to the right place. Give them the opportunity to show you how they can enhance your caching experience with your own custom design. Visit them at artedcrafted.com. That's ARTEDCRAFTED.com.
And by pattags.com for all your swag and pattag needs. Visit our website to get creative help, to trade or log tags, or to purchase your own personalized pat tags. With over 50,000 tags to collect, pattags.com is everything you need to start your pat tag obsession. Visit them at pattags.com. That's PATHTAGS.com.
And by Geocaching Adventures LLC. Geocaching Adventures is a full-service travel agency specializing in creating the ultimate worldwide geocaching adventure for cachers and non-cachers alike. What could be better than having your geocaching bucket list vacation all planned and led by a traveling expert? Learn more by visiting them at geocachingadventuresllc.com. That's geocachingadventuresllc.com.
And finally, by Geooh. Go caching with Geooh, the geocaching app for Android that includes a Where I Go player, trackable scanner, companion watch app, and county finds database. If you're an advanced geocacher, Geooh Go helps with powerful features like nearby cache notifications, optimized routes, offline mode, bulk TB logging, and much more. Learn more by visiting them at geooh.com. That's GEOOH-go.com.
And as always, you can find links to our sponsors on our website or, Chad?
Or in our show notes.
In our show notes. We don't have any news, right? Or I know we don't have any emails. Any news? Anything major happened this week in geocaching community?
Not in geocaching.
I don't think so. No. Guys, tonight we've got Ron, who is the creator of the Geooh Go app for Android, on the show. Ron, welcome, buddy.
Thank you.
How are you tonight?
Well, it's a little sleepy. I'm a little later.
Sorry, guys. Yeah, for anybody
good.
who is not watching this show live, we did tape the show later tonight than we usually tape it. It's later, so we're all kind of a little tired. But Ron, I appreciate you being flexible, which it's very, very appreciated. And Ron, before I start, we've been going back and forth with this, with the domain. It's GEOOH-go.com, right?
Right. It can be a .com or .app.
But
or you can also just use geo.com. That works too. GEOOH.com. Yep.
Really? Okay.
They all three point to the same website.
They all point to this. Okay. I was just curious because we had app in there the other day, and it's totally with Jesse.
Yeah,
Okay.
the geo.com redirected to the geogo.app, which is what I was thinking. In the geogo.app or geogo.com will stick with the .com.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Okay. Okay. So let's obviously, I am a Mac user. I am an iPhone user. Ron, no offense. And Chad is the only Android user on this podcast. The good thing, though, is you converted Chad. Like, he'd never used it before. You came on the show. He used it. He uses it to this day. So
that's
well
right.
done on that, Ron. That just tells you how good of an app you really have.
That's great.
So let's talk about so Chad's going to be pretty much running the show. I'll try and I'll chime in if I need to. But Chad, let's talk. So we are on Geocache Go 14, Chad. So let's talk about Chad. You take over from me. I'm just going to shut my mouth.
All right. So I guess you can kind of give me your highlights of the things that you had in here, but I'm going to say the new thing that I really liked the most was the photorealistic 3D view button on the map. So I know there's some caches out there, and you're looking as like, And especially if you're not looking on a topology map, and even if you are, you're like, exactly how steep is that? You know, how bad a cache is that to go after? That terrain rating is really high there, and so I looked at several caches that I know the caches of that are in my area, plus also went out and done a couple of caches, and it gives you an awesome view. Does that use the satellite views from Google Earth to
It,
create that model, or
it's using a new technology from Google. They're 3D photorealistic map tiles. And
okay?
so I think they've used their satellite data, and you have to see it to really understand.
Hmm.
But it almost looks like it gamified uh, the view, because
Hmm.
they do some kind of terrain mapping and the 3D view of a cache location. I've got it set up to where it's like having a drone flying above the cache.
Hmm.
So you're sort of looking down at the cache, and it's circling around the cache. So you get to see buildings around the cache. You can see if it's in the middle of a clump of trees.
Right.
And like you said, you can see the terrain in terms of the difficulty to climb or something like that. Uh, but when you see it, you go, wow, this is pretty cool.
Right. So yeah, I did notice that initially it had it kind of circling around, and I was like, is there a way to kind of halt this?
Yeah, you
And,
touch
and,
it.
and if you touch it, and I think for me, I wound up touching the info button up or I think there's a little info icon up top. I hit that, and it stops spinning, and then I was able to do more of the two fingers to kind of
Tilt it.
tilt pan, and some zooming in and out, and changing some perspectives. But yeah, I thought that was really great, and it was like this would have been really beneficial when I was going after a couple of caches years ago, and walking up to them, not knowing the area, and just looking at satellite views, like, that's a walk in a park. And now I realize why the terrain rating was so high on those caches. And having this, you can really see, it's like, okay, yeah, this is going to be a little bit of effort versus a real walk in a park. So,
Mhm.
so
Yeah, the website will give someone a basic feel for what it does. There's like a little GIF in there that kind of does a motion and rotation. Uh,
mhm.
So,
but
Chad, can you describe it? I mean, you say, is it like a photorealistic image?
Yeah. So initially, it's a little bit pixelated, but it iterates over time, and the resolution comes in there, and while the trees aren't perfect, you can definitely recognize that they're trees and bushes and stuff. You can definitely see the trails, and rock outcroppings and stuff like that in there.
So you could see
Yeah.
what you're
yeah,
going to before you get there, basically.
Yes.
you can see
Yeah.
the roofs of buildings,
Oh yeah.
and they even give it like a 3D effect if they've got air
I
conditioner equipment on top. It's really cool what Google's done with this.
I could pick up my house really easily. So
Really?
yes.
Yeah, and I think you hit on the benefit of it is that before you go to a cache, you can see what it's going to be like, and whether you even want to go there. I
Right.
used to use Street View for this, but this is even way better than Street View because you see a 3D view of everything.
Right. And there's caches where you're going to that there aren't any, there's you just simply don't have a street view angle on it. And while you can pull up topology, it's like Okay, yeah, yeah, I got a topology map here, and I can see that I potentially could walk along, somewhere around this height here, but you can't tell without a satellite view whether or not you can really walk along that path. And while this one, you got a 3D view, and you can kind of pan around and see, oh yeah, there is a good path through there to the location and stuff like that. So I think this is a winner in my opinion.
So is it similar to like if I go to Google Maps online and hit the satellite view and then hit the 3D button? I'm assuming it's similar renderings to that.
Similar, but I would say better rendering.
Okay,
Really
cool.
The chat
It,
room.
it does
Very cool.
get like you're in a game. I mean, there's some kind of the pixelation, and sometimes you kind of feel like you've gotten in a game that's got a bird's eye view that you're rotating around a location.
That's very cool.
And I should have grabbed some screenshots of it, but screenshots really don't do it justice. Let me see if I can pull one up here. 3D view. Okay, it's pulling it up and it's working on it, and I'm gonna wait till it's got at least a somewhat decent perspective.
Mhm.
Okay, and it's just starting to rotate around there, and the resolution is getting better and better.
I'm looking at Chad's phone at the 3D rendering.
You can see my house is down there in the valley.
That's very
interesting.
cool.
That is very cool.
And there's about 300 feet of elevation difference between the houses at the top versus the houses that are down in the valley there.
The chat room says, is the Geooh 3D feature cheating?
Is any tool that you use cheating? I mean, you can say that any tools using street views cheating, using satellite views cheating. No, I don't think it's cheating. You still got to find the cache. It can really give you a good idea of what tree to go look into, but the chords are off when they found it. I was like, you don't know if it's right there under the tree. You don't know if it's in the canopy. You don't know if it's in the roots. You still got a geocache. It's a tool.
And somebody in the chat wants to know, how do you access this feature? Well, it's not a premium feature, is it? Is it everybody can use the feature?
No, it's part of the enhanced subscription.
Oh, it's an enhanced subscription. Okay, it is part of the enhanced subscription.
Yeah, because I have to pay Google for that privilege of showing those tiles.
I'm not judging you about that on the enhanced subscription. And how much is the enhanced subscription? How much is that?
Well, I've updated it, and there's 3 plans. You can do a quarterly for $1.99.
Oh,
you can do,
$1.99. That's not.
I know. Or semi-annually for I think $2.99, or yearly for $5.99.
Oh, that's nothing.
So it's cheap for what you get.
So basically, all you need to do
Oh.
is be on Live Map and click the little 3D button when you've selected a cache, and it will put it into the 3D view.
Oh,
right.
Very cool.
After you select it, the 3D button will show, and then you can attach it to like instead of using like a compass, you can use the 3D button to bring up the view.
And that's another feature that I figured out that I wasn't using correctly was the compass, and because I normally look at my phone flat down, and I used to back out to get rid of the compass view, Instead, I just need to tilt my phone vertical. There's an option in the preferences to tilt your phone vertically, and the compass disappears from that particular view.
Yeah,
So,
the advantage of that
yes.
is
Yeah,
if you've got if you have the map and you got the compass overlaid on the map, if you lay the phone horizontal,
oh, that's nice.
Mhm.
I don't know that.
then it's like a real compass. The compass
Right.
shows. If you raise it up, it fades away, so you can see the map underneath it
Oh,
instead of flipping back and forth between a
Right.
map and a compass view. They're both together,
mhm.
but one fades away if you want to see the map.
And
And really,
I
when you're using the GPS or a compass in a phone, unless you have it flat, it doesn't register properly. The magnetometer and all that in there. If you
Mhm.
get it vertical, everything's throwing off,
right.
and
Sure.
then and the arrows point incorrectly.
Okay.
So, and another thing, I know this isn't 14 specific, but the what my friends were calling the sonar button. So we were out doing a series of puzzle caches that had got published on May the 4th. They were Star Wars themed caches, and so I had to solve chords. Another person had to solve chords, but as we were going, it's like I had the the notifications coming on as you got close to it. I think it was like about 150 feet. You got the first like ping, and then the closer you get, you start getting closer and closer pings, and it's like, and they were like, "What's your sonar got? What's your sonar got?" So that's
Yeah,
I like the
that's been in there
sound
for a
effects
while.
on that one. Yeah, it's been in there for a while, and I've had others where it's made noises, and they were more. Those noises were irritating. This noise with it kind of sounds like a sonar ping. They go
Bing,
prong,
boom.
so this was not annoying. So
Yeah, I've used it to where I'm on a trail and I just walk in there with the phone in my hand, and then when it starts pinging, it starts at 160 feet.
okay,
And so you're within 160 feet once you start hearing the phone ping. And
right.
then as you get closer, it pings faster.
Yeah. So I thought it might have been 150 because by the time I picked the phone up and look at it, I'm within 150 feet. But yeah, I basically hold the phone. I just start walking and I wait till it starts pinging before I start looking, as opposed to constantly looking.
Mhm.
So all
Um,
right. So
some other
what are
newer
go
new
ahead.
stuff. Yeah, some
I was
new
going to say,
versions for 14.
what are some of the new features that I haven't hit here?
Let's
Well,
see.
let's,
Go
remember,
ahead.
I think if at the end of last year, when I was on the show, and you asked if I had anything planned for the next release, and I said, well, it's a 2-letter. I'll give you that hint. It was 2 letters,
Mhm.
and y'all came up with AI. I said, yeah, that's
Okay.
it. So so I've got this. You can call it like a chat bot. I don't know what you call those. Chat GPT, but
Mhm.
it's I call it Gopher. It's an AI assistant, and what it does is it examines all the logs for a cache that you've downloaded and passes it on to an AI service that goes through, tries to summarize and help you locate the cache based on previous logs. And it's something I've always done
Oh,
when
nice.
I'm out looking for a cache. I'll go back and I start reading all the logs that have been out there for the cache to get me the ID and some hints. So this is a way to see if AI can more
Clean it up.
reliably
Yeah.
do that. And it's interesting because it works. Sometimes it's almost too basic, like it's trying to do it for a novice cacher.
Right.
But it also tries to summarize, and if there are multiple logs with the same basic hints in it or something like that, then it will show up in the AI summary. So
Hmm.
it's one of those things that it may or may not help depending upon the quality of the logs that you get.
Okay.
But it is the first geocaching app to embed AI in it directly.
Okay. So this one is snooping the logs then to try to get information as well.
You not it doesn't, well, I don't know what I mean by snooping, but all
Or
the
I should
logs
read,
that you've down, yeah, it's reading
yeah,
every log
reading
that's
the
been down.
yeah.
It ignores the ones that are just thanks for the cache. I think you have to have 20 words or characters in there
It
before.
ignores my logs.
Yeah, so it's gonna ignore the ones that don't give any information. But so the more logs you've downloaded, the more valuable the AI analysis is.
Awesome.
That's
Yeah, I
interesting.
haven't tried this feature because I was thinking that it was probably going to be something a bit more for the new cacher, but if it's going through and reading the logs and pulling information from that, that could be highly beneficial. I mean, that's something
Absolutely.
that a seasoned cacher
Mhm.
tends to do.
Yeah,
It's-
I feed it the hint and then all the logs that have been downloaded. Then it tries to analyze it. And I mean, basically, you're telling AI, I'm a geocacher and I want to get this cache at this location.
Mhm.
And it here's the logs from everyone else. And each time you run it for the same cache, it comes up with a different set of answers, which is interesting.
Okay.
But to me, it's one of those things that with the way AI is going in the large language models, this will only get better as time goes on.
Sure.
Yeah.
And as Google improves its AI models out there. So try it. And if it helps you, it does. If it doesn't, you don't have to read the logs then.
Yeah,
Shred
I'm definitely going to give this a try.
Let us know how that works. That sounds
Mhm.
interesting.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So that was, a year ago, I wanted to do this. And fortunately, the technology came out around the time I was finishing up 14. So it worked out well. The downside is that it's not available for every country. So
Mhm.
some of the users of Geooh have said, well, it's giving me an error saying it's not, the API is not available. I said, yeah, give it time. Google will make it available more worldwide.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
That's interesting.
Definitely.
The other things, I enhanced the AR. That was kind of a way, it was in there last year. It was a new release or the new feature a year ago. But AR is giving you, you look through the camera and it overlays an AR model of a cache at a location. So you can see where the cache is at. And so instead of just looking at the compass, you can raise the phone up and point it in a direction, and then it will show the marker where the cache is at.
How
Okay.
does it know where the
It's just a marker
coordinates?
where the
coords are?
coordinates.
Where the coordinates are?
Yes, where the
Okay.
coordinates are.
Okay.
Right. So the kind of nice thing is because it's as you get closer, the marker gets bigger. So by using the camera, instead of estimating the distance, you can pretty much see where the cache is at overlaid in the real world. And based on how big it is, you kind of know where it's at. It's one of those things. Again, it's have fun with caching. Take advantage of some new technology, see if it helps you. If it does, hey, good thing.
Absolutely.
Now is the AR one a little bit of a potentially a battery hog?
I don't know if it is or not, uh, because it's using the camera. So like, if the camera's on, I guess you can call that a battery hog. It's just overlaying on the camera this AR image.
Okay. So it's
Uh,
probably no more of a battery hog than just having your camera active, which sometimes I leave my camera on consistently in the background and it it starts to chew through my battery because I tend to have multiple things open at the same time.
Mhm.
But
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
not one. It's one of those features you don't leave open all the time.
true.
You look for the cache and then you go on. So it's
Right.
not
So
on
so
all the
so
time.
so for this will probably be better than well, for me it's like I turn the camera off and then I switch, and instead of turning the camera back off, I switch apps. and
Mhm.
it's sitting there active in the background.
Right.
Okay.
The other things, there's a social feature that I think some users like it, some don't. I'm not sure. Have you ever been on a website and as you're looking at something to buy, like a shopping site, and you see a little so and so bought this, so and so bought
Yeah,
this,
sure.
you
Yes.
get that? Well, there's a social feature in the app where when you log a find with Geooh, it broadcasts to everyone else that you found it.
Now, does that? I think that does it do it within a proximity or to the
You
Go
can
users within?
you can configure the feature so you only get notifications worldwide, or
Mhm.
for your country, or for your friends.
Okay, I think I set it up for friends, and I did see a notification come through last weekend while I was out there caching. I
Yeah,
don't know if any of my friends saw notifications from me when I was posting some of my logs, but
yeah, it's only for Geooh users that you
right.
only see their logs. Uh, and it's one of those things I noticed when I was testing. I'd be seeing these logs come, or notifications that someone's found this, someone's found that, and it made you want to get out, get away from the desk. If someone else is having fun,
Yep.
you think, I need to go out and find some too. So again, that's one of those things I think a lot of people turn off because they don't want to see the notifications, but they're painless if you don't mind it showing up.
What about
There's
this? What about this OS4 support? Like, I'm curious about this, like the watch support.
well, it's there's always been Wear OS support for the last 4 years, maybe. So a Wear OS
Of course.
watch.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's several things on it that the app does. There's some watch faces that show up, designed for geocachers, where you can turn on a compass on the watch. You can see uh, how many finds you've had for the day. You just tap the watch and it tells you, okay, you've found this many today. So
Mhm.
it's kind of a rolling number of finds. And all I've done with this version is just support the latest Wear OS 4, which is Google's latest Android for the watches. It's same thing with Android 14. It's supporting Android 14 all the way, and it's abiding by all the restrictions or improvements that Android 14 has. Uh, the it's using all the, Google calls it Material 3 design. It's the how the widgets look and the color schemes and things like that. So the app has a little bit more of rounded corners to match all the latest Google best practices for a UI.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
I've used the Wear OS Geooh Go feature on there, and the one thing, and I know it's not your software. I know it's the Samsung Galaxy phones. I consistently have things that are the compass points 90 degrees off when it goes out to my watch.
well,
So
on the watch, it's using its own uh, compass on the
okay,
watch.
it's using
So
its
it's
own compass. So
right.
I think
It uses the phone for communication to data.
mhm,
And you were talking about the pinging. If you turn on the compass on the watch, It will
Mhm.
also ping as you get close to it. So
Okay.
you can even have the phone in your pocket and have the watch do all the navigation to the cache and notifications that you're getting near the cache.
Okay.
So,
So when I used to use the Where You Go app on my phone, it would be 90 degrees off. And I think it's the phone that is 90 degrees off, and it has maybe some sort of offset to tell it a correction. And I think I don't, so I don't know if that correction is kind of telling the watch to adjust, and even though it's using the watch's compass and it's wrong. I think something's going on there. Other people don't seem to have this this issue.
Your issues.
It's me.
That's a user error there, Chad.
That's a user error. I
and
swear, I just turned it on.
it could be the watch itself.
Could be the watch, yeah.
Mhm.
But I do definitely like that feature. It was one of the things that first got me to buy an Android watch. Something like 2014, I think, and to try it on another app, and that one, the compass was all over the place. So
Mhm.
this one, the compass is consistent, but it's 90 degrees off.
Mhm.
So I think I just need to go in there and figure
Try
out what's going on.
on the 14 is using the latest sensor technology from Google. So
Okay.
both for the phone and for the watch, and it may improve the orientation of the compass. I'd be
Maybe.
curious if it does improve it. That'd be good feedback.
Yeah.
For me, but
I'll check it out.
yeah, so it's using more up-to-date technology when it comes to determining your position on the watch and on the phone, or orientation.
All right.
Another 14 related thing. I'm not sure if everyone knows this, but Groundspeak has Markdown, which is a syntax markup language. So like HTML, where you can put some kind of code around words to have it do a particular markup. Interestingly, Groundspeak supports that on the website, but not on their app.
Okay.
I think Cachly supports Markdown views. Geooh does for sure. So when you look at logs, if anyone's marked it up with Markdown syntax, it will show it the way they intended it to. The website, I think, does. Their app doesn't. But what I've done is in the log text editor, I've enabled a Markdown editor where it highlights if you've got text with Markdown syntax, it highlights that so you know that. And you can also select a word or words and do a bold or italics on it, and that inserts the Markdown syntax. It's just an easier way to use Markdown, which Groundspeak is doing, but they're not fully pushing it, at least with their app, that I can tell. So,
what does this list group headers stick to the top of list?
Something that's sort of unique with the app is that, at least in the past, logs can be grouped by found or DNF or notes. So when you look at the list, you see them all grouped together, and there'll be a header in front of that group. So I may see all my finds. As I'm scrolling up, I'll see a group header that says DNF, and then all the DNFs underneath that.
Mm-hmm.
And those are collapsible. So if you don't want to see your finds, you click on the header and it collapses all the finds in that list so they don't clutter it up. The sticky header is just that as you now scroll up, that header for that group stays where it's at, whereas previously it would scroll past the screen. So now as you're scrolling, you can continually see what header that group is, or the rows. And this is primarily for caches, but it also is in other parts of the app where you can group things by some class.
Right. So I think you got mine in here, which is
Yes.
a grouping of a list of the caches that you own that I believe are active. I don't know if it shows any of the. I don't think it shows the inactive ones. A watch list, so the ones that you have on your watch list. But you can pin. You say you can pin anything that you want here. So is that how you do that? Okay. All right. That's a cool feature.
Yeah, it like I said, there's been a grouping feature for years. This one just makes the header for a group stick at the top of the screen, so you continually know what group you're looking at.
Okay.
Those were the big tickets items for 14. The other things have just been kind of enhanced all along using the latest Android Auto components. And again, for those who don't know it, Geooh has the Android Auto native app that runs on the car display, and it works in conjunction with the nearby geocaches feature. So as you're driving around, you'll see the nearest geocaches will display on the car screen, both as a list and on a map, and then you can select one, get more information about it. And if you want to go to it, then you can navigate to it. So it's the only geocaching app that has that. I know Nick is advertising that there's going to be a CarPlay version someday for Cachely, and so I suspect it'll be something similar.
Okay. So one of the things that I noticed in here was a new setting for favorite percentages on badges instead of counts.
Yes.
So and that's a feature that I played around with. So sometimes you sometimes there are caches that have favorite points for just for the sake of having favorite points, but are very low percentage, and some caches just don't get hit as much, but have high percentage favorite points, and this is a good tool for that, I think.
Yeah, that was a user requested feature, and once it was suggested, it didn't take too long to put in. It's gotten to the point where probably 30% of the new things being put in are requested by somebody, and things I hadn't thought about, which is very good. The other things that just other apps don't have it. Weather information, you can show what the weather's like for a cache location. So maybe before you want to drive to it, you want to know whether it's raining or storming down there. And you can also have that as displayed in your log for a cache, which I like doing that because it reminds me of what that day was like when I logged it. The temperature, the weather, clouds, things like that.
Now you have the option to automatically include a number of those things in the caches with your using the like brackets weather and brackets date and stuff, right?
Yeah, they're placeholders. I think every app does something like that. You have placeholders, they're keywords that are put inside of a log, and then when that's submitted, those placeholders are filled in with values, like the cache, your find number, or the date, or any information. So I know Cashly does that. I think others do. The official app doesn't, but it's a way to enrich the log a little bit more without having to type it in yourself.
Yeah, so I like the way you have a option to do a log header, log footer, and other things in here in different log types like DNF and stuff as well, and in the log. So I started using that feature a bit. I've been more of a log it later type, but with these features, I think I'm going to try to get back to be a more log it now type of thing. So,
and I think what's unique with that, you mentioned that there's a placeholder called a DNF and a placeholder found, and you can put both of those together inside of a log template, but it won't be used unless the log type is a DNF or a found.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you can kind of create a template that cover all bases of when you decide to go caching.
That's very cool.
Yeah. So one template may satisfy notes, DNFs, and finds.
Nice.
Of course, it's got the Where-Go player built in, and on Android that was important because the older, obsolete one is not working well or at all. So I know some people have bought Geooh Go just for plain Where-Goes. The built-in scanner, bulk logger, if you need that.
Mm-hmm.
You can record GPX tracks. So if you are hiking to a location and you want to make sure you come back to the car or know how to get back to your car, you can turn on tracking and it will monitor as you walk your locations and create a track which will have little dots so you can backtrack along the same path. And you can use GPX tracks to load ones from others that have been created. So if there's I've done this before, like a biking or a hiking website will have a track predefined, and you can load that in so you can follow some tracks to get to a location.
Nice.
So it's not just the ones that you've created, you can load in what others created. And I think that's another thing that Cashly is planning on doing on their pro division or version. And if they're standard GPX tracks, you should be able to share them across apps.
So I could ask Chad for his route that he took to go hunt some caches that I don't know the area very well or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. It's a standard GPX track format.
Yeah, I definitely could have used that on things like GCD the first time I went past the turnoff, like about a mile, and had to backtrack back, and
Mm-hmm. Other things that are kind of nice that I think only Geooh does this. There's an answer sheet, an integrated answer sheet. So if you're working on a mystery or virtual or an earth cache, you can keep notes about what the answers are for those, and they're stored with the cache, and you can kind of open and close it periodically to get all the answers. When you're ready to send it, there's a send button, and it will pre-format the response to the owner with the cache name, the cache number, and then your answers. So you don't have to do anything, and you send that off to the owner either by email or by the message center. So
Yeah, I think
I found that's very easy now.
yeah, I've looked at that, but the last couple of times that I've needed it, I've been in such a rush that I forgot about it. I think when I go to Geooh Woodstock and in a couple of weeks here, I'm gonna make sure that I utilize that feature a bit more. So I definitely I've utilized it for multis and storing the information in there for questions and multis, but I have not used it for virtuals, and I think that's something that I want to make sure that I do.
Yeah, and I said that the thing I like about it is that it will embed for you the GC code number and the cache name, so the owner doesn't have to, or you don't have to figure that out, and the owner will
And,
know what it is.
and can you add extra text to that as well?
Yes, I
So
mean, because
it's like
you're
sending the
creating the
answers.
answers. This is just
Sending,
like a header.
okay, so, yeah, it's like sending the answers for Joe, Jim, Bob, Shorty Nets, and Scotty Burks.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a formula solver that if there's a formula in a mystery or a multi, and to get the coordinates, you got to put in the numbers in a formula. There's a built-in formula solver, so it's same thing that's stored with the cache. And as you get the answers to the letters, usually in a
Yeah.
formula, then it will solve it for you and then send that answer off to get it as corrected coordinates. Similarly, it also checks to see if there's a challenge checker inside the description.
Mm-hmm.
And if it is, it lets you open that easily via a button. So it's for all the checkers out there, and it even uses Groundspeak's checker, or
The built-in
the
verification.
built-in one.
Yeah.
So you don't have to go to a website. You just use the app itself to do that.
Now, if you do the verification on there, does it go back and do corrected chords to Groundspeak as well as inside the app?
That's what the checkers do. So when you go to a Project GC or Certitude and you fill in the answers, usually they do the update the coordinates for you.
So basically, it's accessing that site, putting in the answer that you figured out.
It's sending you to the website,
Okay.
basically, and then you enter the answer that you come
Okay.
up with. Then
Gotcha.
that website updates the coordinates, and then when you come back to Geooh, it refreshes the cache, assuming that you've updated through the website.
Okay.
So it gets the refresh that it's got the corrected coordinates on it.
Nice.
So, let's see. Like, I guess, again, some of the stuff is similar to other. You can see all the stages for Adventure Labs.
Yes.
You can see all waypoints for all caches also. So if you wanted to, you can turn that on. So when you look at the map, you see all waypoints, you see all stages so if you're in an area, you know if there's a cache or Adventure Lab that's got something there for you to work on.
Yeah, those are such great features.
And if you've solved chords like on a GeoArt or something, it's got the original chords in like a little red dots.
Right. So you can see both the original and the corrected coordinates, and then you can even view the art still. So that's good. There's a picture in a picture mode for the compass. So if you're on the map and you got the compass up and you want to look at another app, it does a small window of the compass at the bottom corner of the phone. So you could be using some other app and at the same time still see the compass for the geocache you're going for. So
Very cool.
you can play Pokemon at the same time you're geocaching.
No,
Yeah.
no Pokemon. No, just kidding. If you want to play Pokemon, play it to your heart's content.
God bless.
Another highlight, there's an offline worker. So if you are logging a cache and the network's not available, the app will internally queue that up and will monitor for the network. And when the network's available, it will send the log out. Even if you had shut the app down and came back in, it tries to resurface that log attempt and then sends it. So you don't have to monitor the network on your own. It does it for you. And I think I saw someone in the chat, another feature that they like is, I mentioned it earlier on the watch and on the phone, you can give your daily stats. So it used to be years ago when I was caching with a friend, at the end of the day, we go, well, how many did we get today? And we got tired of having to count up the logs and figure it out.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to make it easier. So I did it to where you push a button and it will go out and find all the finds for the day. So it does a count for you. And it will even display by the owners. So you can see how many finds per owner, if that's of interest.
Very cool.
We do have some questions from the chat room, by the way. Let's
go for those because I'm running out of.
I got two. I know. Jim Stark says, how cell data dependent is GeoGo? I don't have unlimited data and pay for data usage. The 3D rotating view likely is the 3D rotating view likely heavy data usage. I'd likely not do that. Wondering about the rest of the app.
Well, you can do it like any other app. You go in offline mode, download offline maps and offline lists. So you can cache just like a regular GPS device. So
yeah,
you don't need data.
Yeah, I normally use it with offline maps, although I'll switch over to satellite view if I want to, and sometimes even switch over to other map views just to see if I see something different in case I don't see the offline map, which the OSM offline maps the offline maps I use tend to be pretty good, but sometimes you might want to switch up the map views, but also using lists for offline caches and stuff as well. I tend to do that a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think all the apps do that. The 3D map tiles, yeah, you need a network for that.
Yeah.
I don't know how expensive that is. There's sort of like satellite views. I mean, in terms of the size of the image, may be equivalent to a satellite photo view of a area as a photorealistic view of the area. So I don't know, but yeah, if you're worried about data, don't turn on the 3D view.
Yeah, that's actually a good question, and I will try to figure out the answer to that because I can basically hotspot my phone, use my tablet to do it, and see, and it will tell me my phone will tell me exactly how much data was pulled from my tablet.
Mm-hmm.
So I can.
Yeah, I saw a question
I get a look
for the number of caches, the stats on the home screen. You just tap the top bar, which has your name and the find count, and it does the stats for you from there. If you do it on the phone, on the watch, you can do the same thing. Have it done there.
Yeah. Somebody says, "Oh, speaking the hint is a neat feature." Someone says,
Oh, yeah. When you are on the map and you touch a cache, it briefly shows you the hint on the screen.
Mhm.
And similarly, I couldn't read some hints fast enough. So I added an option that it will speak to you, so you can tap the cache icon, and then immediately it's reading you the hint,
Mhm.
verbally.
Mhm.
So you don't even have to look
Yeah,
at the screen.
I saw that and I was wondering who wants to hear it read to them. That's what I was thinking. But
To each his own.
Well,
there's exactly who it is.
well, I've been caching with others, and they'll be driving, and they hear the hint at the same time I'm looking at it on the screen, so they don't even have to ask me for the hint.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
so
Okay.
there's some value
That
there.
makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody asks, will there be support for other watches in the future?
Just Wear OS is the only supported.
Is that the only watch for Android? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Wear
Yeah.
Wear OS is an operating system. There are many watches that are that support Wear OS. Pretty much
Right.
all
And,
the
if someone's
Android
thinking
ones.
like a Garmin watch, no, that won't happen. It has to be a Wear OS watch.
Mhm. Okay. And
I
then,
mean, this one's a Carlisle. I got another one that's by what's the brand?
so it's the OS.
They're multiple brand, but they
It's the
all support Wear OS.
Yeah, it's the iOS. Okay. Oh, not the iOS, the OS. I should say.
The OS. Yeah.
iOS is Apple. And then we have a question from GS sometimes too. I think you did, but we're gonna maybe you could do it one more time. Can Ron explain the updated pricing structure, please?
Yeah, the previous subscription was only a bi-yearly or twice a year, but now I've added where you can subscribe quarterly, semi-yearly, or yearly. The quarterly is $1.99 a quarter.
Mhm.
Semi-yearly is $2.99, and then if you do yearly, it's $5.99.
No, that's like nothing for all those features. Nothing.
Yeah, yeah, I know. With Cashly, it's a lot more uh, uh, for less, and I understand that the other Android geocache, you have GC Droid, is being rewritten, and it's going to be $1.99 a month. Period. I mean, it's going subscription only.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's not the Pro or
Right.
enhanced version, just
Right.
the base app.
One more question. How do you get to the Find by Day feature?
I think that's the stats I was talking about on the home screen. You tap the top bar, which has your geocache name and find count.
Oh, okay.
And I'll give you the stats.
Okay. Anything else we're missing here? It is 10:30. Anything else we're a little over? Chad, anything else we're missing that you want to highlight? That you could think top of the
I
head.
don't think so.
Ron, anything else you want to highlight?
No, I think we covered everything.
Did we cover everything?
Well, let's put it this way. We covered the major things. I think it's getting to being a problem now. There's so many features.
Yeah, you need to
we can't cover them all.
You need to pace yourself,
right.
Ron. Pace yourself.
Well, yeah, so don't ask me what next year's going to be like.
And have you already come out with an update, like a version 14.1 or 14?
Yes.
Okay.
There's a 14.1.
And was that new features or was it just cleaning it up?
There's some new stuff. One of the new things, which you didn't cover, if you look at the an event and you go to the cache page for the event, in the corner, it will tell you how many have logged a will attend.
Mhm.
And then if the event's over, it will tell you how many logged
Oh, nice.
intended. And that's because I wanted to know how many are going to this event. You'd have to download all the logs and then count all the bulletins yourself. So again, it's one of those things I wanted to figure that out without having to do a lot of work. So that's in 14.1, where it will give you the count of bulletins easily.
The events button is also one of my favorite things because I no longer have to like filter on events and then try to find a thing. It just hit the events and see what's coming up and be able to click on them. And
for those who don't know it, Geooh is offline list centric. So the home screen is a list of lists. And so you create your own offline lists in multiple ways. And there's also some quick lists, and Chad just mentioned one of them, events. So you can quickly see the events around you, quickly see nearby caches around you, or see adventure labs near you. So those are the a quick list for you.
Okay. Chad, anything else? Oh, there you go.
No, it's like, keep up the good work.
Ron, I wish I could use your app. I honestly do. Unfortunately,
You can always buy
I'm
a
not
used
paying-
Android.
I'm not buying an Android. So I only trust Chad. You know what? The fact that you converted Chad, who was a hardcore. What was the other one you used? I can't remember. CGO user. And Chad calls me. We had you on the show, and he messed with it. And he called, and we talked a few weeks later. He's like, I'm actually using it. I use it more. I use Geooh Go more. It's my go-to now. So that's awesome. That it's a great product if you can convert someone who's been using CGO forever.
Right.
So
I've been using that for
ever,
since 2010. I mean, since the Camarillo or whatever his name was, the original developer of it. Before another group took it over in like 2012.
Right.
Well, and that's a compliment to you, is that a lot of CGO users have a hard time transitioning to a different user interface. And no, Geooh Go is not like CGO.
Yes, it's definitely not like it. It takes some effort to do it, but it's worth the effort.
Right. Yeah.
All right, Ron. It is always a pleasure to have you on the show, buddy.
Well, thank you for having me on.
Anytime, man. We love having you on, especially when the new ones come out. You are always welcome on this show to come and talk about it. We thank you so much for coming on. Everybody, if you're an Android user and you're not using Geooh Go, you're crazy. Take it from Chad. It's a great app. And Ron, thank you so much, buddy. You stay. You do not leave, okay?
Stay here.
Stay right there. I'm going to put you on mute. Chad, next week, and Jesse, next week, it is time again. It's been a while. I think, is this the first of the year? Of the new year?
I think we've had one. I think we had
one.
Yeah.
We did one.
It's time again, guys. It is One Up Me contest time. Next week, Chad. This one could get interesting. This one is going to get interesting. The best multi-cache you've hidden and or found. Who's got the best multi-cache story? I've found some good multi-caches.
I found some good
Chad's found like 12
caches and hit a couple of good multi-caches, in my humble opinion.
In your humble opinion. Oh, okay. We're going to find out next week. That's it, guys. Next week is the One Up Me contest. Best multi-cache you've hidden and or found. Ron, thank you so much for coming in tonight, buddy. We truly appreciate it. Thank you for being so flexible on the timing. Truly appreciate it. And everybody in the chat room, you guys were awesome. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for chatting away. We appreciate it. Guys, we will talk to you guys next week. Let's close it out here. Please join us again every Wednesday night at 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central as we stream live on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and on our website, geocachingpodcast.com. The archived video versions of our podcasts are available on our website or on our YouTube channel, and the audio versions are available wherever you find your favorite podcasts. If you like the show, please head on over to Apple Podcasts and rate, review, and subscribe. Really appreciate it, and it really helps the show when you do. If you prefer to watch the show, make sure you click that subscribe or get notified buttons to know exactly when we go live. And hey, if you haven't already, please consider becoming a patron of our show. With tiers starting as low as $5, you will get a ton of additional information, extra video, extra audio, only available to our patron members. Please head on over to patreon.com today and subscribe. That's patreon.com/the geocaching podcast. Thanks once again to our sponsors, Cashly, Logwork, FTF Geocacher Magazine, the Max Odds Body Company, Practical Geocaching, Arted Crafted, PatTags.com, Geocaching Adventures LLC, and GeoGo. Please visit our sponsors, and when you make a purchase, you tell them the GCPC sent you. That's all we got this week, so we'll see you next week talking geocaching, taking your phone calls. In the meantime, be good, be safe, hug your loved ones, and we'll talk to you guys next week. And we're clear. All right, thanks everybody for again. Thanks so much for staying up late with us, and we will see you guys next week. Ryan, you stay. Everybody else, have a good night. Bye bye.